Forgot to show you some stuff. So that's what this video is going to be about. Combos I've already shown, some I forgot to show, and new ones I've learned since then. Just so that everything is in one neat little package. The first combo is the bread and butter of Ritual Dark Magician, the patent pending Dodo combo. Since nothing's changed about this combo, I'll be using the same footage from the original video, so if you're already familiar with it and just want to get to the new stuff, you can skip to this timestamp here. So, let's get to it. Since this is just to show how the combo works, I've stacked the combo pieces on top of the deck with a couple of bricks to add a bit of that Dark Magician authenticity. What we need in our hand going first are these 3 cards or a way to get to them, as well as 1 card to discard. Yes, this is a 3-card combo, but as Dark Magician players, we're already playing a bunch of cards that search these things out, so it's actually way more consistent than it looks. To start the combo, activate Chalice Slime's hand effect. Discard a card from the hand, special summon an incantation monster from your deck. We'll be summoning Candle. Candle's effect activates, adding a ritual spell from our deck to our hand. No, we're not adding Chaos Form, we're adding Incantation Inception. Activate Inception, ritual summon Magician of Chaos. Offer Chalice Slime as tribute. It is level 7 after all. Okay, next up. Activate Inception's graveyard effect. Tribute an Inception monster to special summon another one from the deck. We're gonna summon Talismandra. His effect activates to search for a ritual monster from the deck. We're adding Magician of Black Chaos Max. At this point, you could set any trap card or any quick play spell card, but preferably you want to get Easel. And once we do that, we're pretty much set to ruin our opponent's day. But before we get to the next step, there's a few things I want to point out. We've special summoned 3 times and have not normal summoned yet. So you could still summon Rod or any other card and you'll still be safe from Nibiru. Also, notice how the combo ended with Inception in the hand. This card is not needed for any further plays, so you can discard it with Souls and get an extra draw from it. With all that in mind, you can end your turn now. Although, just because we're ending our turn doesn't mean the combo's over. The rest of it happens during your opponent's draw phase. Activate Eternal Soul, but do not activate its effect. Only flip it over. This will trigger Magician of Chaos' effect. Have him target and destroy himself. This will then trigger his other effect, where he can special summon Magician of Black Chaos Max from your hand. At this point, the opponent may try to use Called by the Grave or DD Crow on Magician of Chaos. This is why you want Eternal Soul to be the card that you flip over, because you can actually chain Eternal Soul to those cards and then fish out Magician of Chaos from your graveyard, preventing him from being banished and having his effect negated. But if the opponent doesn't do anything in that point, then might as well just leave Magician of Chaos in the graveyard. We could use him there for later. So, special summon Chaos Max. His effect activates. When he's special summoned, you contribute a monster to prevent your opponent from activating any monster effects for the entire turn, basically giving you game. Who you tribute depends on what you think your opponent has. If they have infinite impermanence, Chaos should tribute himself. The tribute is cost, so they wouldn't have the chance to target him. If the opponent didn't try to use Called by the Grave on Magician of Chaos earlier and you think they might have it, tribute Talismandra instead. Now your opponent is locked out of monster effects and you can still bring back Magician of Chaos whenever you want. At this point, the opponent typically scoops and calls you a slur, but we win, so it's all good. There are several alternative ways to do the combo. That was the simplest, most direct route. Some of the others can give us some insane boards and fill out our hands by the end of the turn, but we'll get to those later. While it's nice that the basic combo sets you up with an extra monster to tribute for Chaos Max's effects, that little ugly plant guy is kind of a jerk for locking us out of the extra deck.
Fuck your extra deck.
But there's a few ways we can get around it.
Oh shit.
The first and most obvious route is just to do your extra deck plays before you do the vanilla combo, but that's not always an option because opening with the basic combo uses up most of our hand. So here's one that should be really easy to do. What you need is the basic combo or a way to it, and Magician Souls, or a way to it, of course. Start off the combo normally. Summon Candle, search for your ritual spell, and after you do that, that's where the combo changes a little bit. What you want to do is bring out Magician Souls before you use Incantation Inception. The reason for this is we're going to use this effect to discard Inception. You want Inception in the graveyard for this to work, and we luckily drew into Black Chaos Max, but let's pretend he's not in our hand. After that, you're going to want to use Inception's graveyard effects, but we're not sending Candle, we're going to send Chalice Slime. And that will let us special summon Talismandra, and then here you would search Chaos Max, although since we already have him, we're just going to get IOC, and again, pretend we don't have Chaos Max in hand until now. And this next part has nothing to do with the combo, so I'm just gonna skip it. And here is where you use Inception, but we're attributing the onboard imps to bring out Magician of Chaos. And doing that allows us to go into our extra deck again. Sometimes you'll draw an awkward hand or are able to get into a hand like this using searchers or whatever. And at first glance, it may seem you might not be able to do the combo since you'd have no way to bring out Magician of Chaos or anything. Magician's Souls actually helps fix this kind of issue. First, we're gonna use Incantation Chalice Line. Discard one of the extra souls. Bring out Candle. And then that will let us search for the ritual spell. And then here, it's like, oh, but we shouldn't use this to bring out Magician of Black Chaos because the effect won't activate on the opponent's turn, blah blah. Yeah, I know. But the thing is, Magician's Souls could then bring itself out and do a similar thing to the last example I gave, where it'll discard Inception. We get a free draw, yay. And from here, we get the search effect. And I guess, yeah, sure, we'll send it here. Then we get to bring out Talismandra. Talismandra's effect then will activate, getting us the missing piece, which was Magician of Chaos. And now we have the combo pieces that we would like to have for the combo to go off. Attributing there, and once again, also opening up our extra deck. Pretty nice. Everyone who plays this deck knows that drawing into one of these imps, the non-ritual ones, is usually a bad thing, but I'm gonna tell you that it's actually still workable, because if you draw into this guy, all you need is another summon or a way to it, like Rod or Souls, anything, and a way directly to this guy. We're gonna skip a few steps here, because we're gonna do things a different way, and we have many ways to search this guy, so it's actually... This play is actually something that you will be doing way more often once you get the hang of it. So we're gonna activate Talismandra. You know, if anything, this combo is easier to do than the initial one. But anyway. Going into Candle, and then bringing out, summoning each other. Then we're gonna search for Inception. So now we're gonna activate Inception, bring out Magician of Black Chaos Max. And here, you do not activate this effect. It's your turn, you don't activate it. Summon anything. And again, we have so many ways to search for regular summons or whatever, so this is very easy to do. From here, we go into the extra deck monster I mentioned in a previous video to use, but the problem was I didn't show this example, so I saw people commenting and making videos or whatever on it, and they decided not to use this guy because they didn't understand how to use him. And if any of you were watching that didn't understand this play when I talked about it earlier, don't feel bad. It's my fault for not showing the example, not yours. His purpose, Dynamondo, is for these situations when you draw into one of the imps and you're not able to put it back in the deck and follow through the rest of the combo. So we're not going to use his effect right now. Bringing Dynamondo out lets us go into the opponent's end phase. I know we have other stuff here, but that's not what we're focusing on. We're going to go into the end phase, and then from here, we could actually use his effect to tribute himself, bring out Chaos Max on the opponent's turn. And that locks him down as it usually would. And sure, it leaves us open, but that's because we didn't do anything else on purpose. This was like just an example. But yeah, because of Dynamondo, we're able to do the lockdown another way, even if we draw into one of the imps, because this works with Candle too, just as long as it's like reverse and we have a spell, but we have just as many ways to search for a spell as we do for Magician of Black Chaos. So even if you draw Candle, this will still work. We'll just search for Chaos Max instead of the spell. Same order, just reversed. So drawing an imp is not the end. Alright, another one. Diviner of the Herald. This card is 99% of the time the normal summon I would rather go for. Yes, in this deck, even better than Rod, because Rod's best purpose in this deck is just to search for E-Soul, which Magician's Salvation does a better job of, but that's something we could get into for later. For right now, let's just focus on Diviner. So we're gonna summon her, and she sends Herald of the Arclight to the grave, and that lets us search for any ritual monster or spell. So for this specific hand, our missing piece is Magician of Chaos, so that's what we're gonna grab. And she doing this play also lets us fix those hands, like mentioned earlier, how if we draw one of the bad imps, we need to go into either the Impcantation ritual spell or Magician of Black Chaos Max, so we can do the Dynamondo combo. Yeah, she is one of the best searchers that let us go into either of those. So she is our ticket out of bad, terrible situations when we draw into one of the bad imps and have no way to get out of it. So Magician's Souls. I guess something we could do here is send him to the grave. Summon Girl. Because when we have the combo out, we're gonna have a Dark Magician out on the field. So it's best to send Dark Magician Girl to the grave or summon her so that we get 2 draws from Soul Servant. And this field is very common to be able to go into. So it's just a shame that these two don't do anything while they're out. Like, if only they could just go into some kind of play that we would be able to use in this deck. Wait, did you see that? Alright, what the hell? What's going on here?
Diviner.
Oh, we can't! The prophecy states!
Barnacles to the prophecy! Let's break our vows.
Okay.
Then, just as the prophecy stated, when the when the light and the dark maiden get together, a big ass fucking dragon comes out. Awesome. And then, I don't know, I made this up in like 2 minutes, leave me alone.
No, wait, I do remember.
And then another big fucking dragon shows up.
What the hell was that?
Yo, we got a big ass fucking dragon.
Well, not yet, but yes. Having Dark Magician Girl and Diviner actually lets us go into Ultimaya, as well as other options, but we'll get into those a little bit later. Because Ultimaya lets us go into other synchro plays, any level 7 or 8 dragon monster. We could also exceed into Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal, to send any card from our deck to the graveyard. It's pretty insane. We can also go into Geomathematic Final Sigma. It's worth mentioning. 3000 beater, unaffected by everything. I guess it could work in some niche situations, worth bringing up. But anyway, let's go into Ultimaya. So we're gonna bring out Ultimaya, and we're gonna put him in defense because, you know, 0 stats. And should I move this out of? Do we need it? But I think, yeah, we'll just leave it here. So Ultimaya's requirement is to set a card. And the combo requires us to do that already anyway, so it's perfect. So by setting a card, we get a special summon any level 7 or 8 dragon synchro monster. And these are the ones I think that are worth mentioning. First, let's talk about Stardust Dragon. Basically, he protects Eternal Soul. Anytime anything would get destroyed, he would tribute himself to prevent its destruction. Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. This is a great going second option, as well as maybe negating Nibiru if you're worried about that before you start comboing off. And Void Ogre Dragon. We're going to go into him a little bit later, because we could actually use his effect, even though it has a weird restriction. And lastly, Black Rose Moonlight Dragon. I feel like it's a pretty good effect. We might not really use it much, but I feel like some decks might use it. But yeah, for right now, for the example, we're going to go into Void Ogre Dragon. He's probably the most useful because he can negate any spell or trap. The requirement is we need to have no cards in our hand, but if we're doing this combo, that's very easy to do because, well, I'll show you guys. Let's do the combo. Bringing out Candle, giving us Inception, and then we're gonna activate it. Bringing out Magician of Chaos, sending Chalice Slime to the grave, and then we're gonna activate Inception effect. And that'll, you know, have us special summon Talismandra as usual. And that'll give us back Inception, and then we'll search for Magician of Black Chaos Max. And from here, all you have to do is just set Inception, because during the opponent's draw phase, we're just gonna activate Eternal Soul as we normally would, and have Magician of Chaos pop himself. and then he's gonna bring out Magician of Black Chaos Max, and that leaves us with no hand, making it so that we activate the Ogre Dragon's effect. And if you're worried about something like Typhoon, well, not Typhoon, you know what I mean, any back row destruction effect, you could just bring out Stardust Dragon instead. But the reason why I think Void Ogre Dragon is worth bringing up is because he could negate things like Evenly Matched and Infinite Imperm. So who you go into really just depends on the situation. If you're new here and this deck looks interesting to you, I actually did a deck profile on a slightly older build using most of these combos. You can use that as a baseline moving forward. I think that's enough for now. I'll definitely be doing more combo videos and deck profiles in the future, so if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. And if you want to help the channel out even more, leave a like and comment. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time, especially if you subscribe.